Hi, my name's Ariana.
And my name's Ryan.
And this is
I Wear Grippy Socks, a mental health podcast by two know-nothing millennials from a seriously non-clinical viewpoint.
Though this episode may contain content that you may find disturbing, so please reach medical help if needed.
Okay, whatever. Stop. We're talking about it too much.
Yep.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of I Wear Grippy Socks. We are here today. I am with Ariana, and when this episode comes out, it will actually be her birthday. So I just wanted to know, how are you feeling about that?
Oh, that's such a loaded question. This year specifically, because I'll go off of that, I'm feeling actually excited and, lots of emotions around that. I really think a big part of that is just our great response we've had from our amazing listeners and our followers that we've gained in the last couple months. Literally, we only started this podcast and this journey with this I Wear Grippy Socks in the last month, literally. So I'm just really excited to see what's coming, and we definitely appreciate all the response and love we've gotten back. I know, though, for the future, we'd love to hear also more from you guys and let us know how we're doing, because
yes, please, guys, please let us know how we're doing. I feel like it seems like we're doing all kinds of crap we've never done before. We've never done any of this, so who knows? Maybe it's awful, but I feel like the response has been pretty good so far. So
heck yeah, I know. We've literally, you guys, like we said, amazing. You guys have done it. It's great. But we also want to know what more you guys want to hear from us. Like, what else would you guys be interested in talking about, or what next episodes would you want to hear, or even critique on maybe some designs, anything. We're very open. Like Ryan just said, everything has been brand new for us, so we'd love to hear from you guys.
Right, and I just would like to also say that I do appreciate everybody who has also purchased a t-shirt. I may actually be able to afford to get you a birthday present this year. I never get anybody birthday presents or Christmas presents because I never have any money, because I spend all my money on narcotics.
But I would like to add that last year he made me a birthday card.
I did.
Last year.
You did. I killed that.
It was good. It was super sweet. So you tried. It's about effort all the time, not always about money, guys. Okay?
Right. Well, I didn't put any effort into that, though.
You wrote it, so that there was effort there. I'll give you brownie points.
Thank you.
I think you did a drawing, maybe.
I did. I tried my very best.
It was good. It was cute.
How do you feel? So it's your golden birthday. How does that make you feel? Do you feel like it's going to be a golden year for you?
I feel like so. I know. So I this terminology, golden birthday, was like new to me as well. So I'm going to be 27 on the 27th. So weird, I guess, but it's just bizarre. I remember, though, when I was a kid looking at the calendar and being like, oh, when I'm going to be 27 on the 27th. And now I'm like, wow, we're here.
You made it.
Yeah, I made it to 27, which is still absolutely crazy and strange. And it's definitely bizarre. And I know, when you moved down here last year, it was your 27th birthday. And you brought up, I had never even heard this, the 27 Club.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never heard it until you actually mentioned it to me. And then now, looking into it, and now I'm here at 27.
You must not have been troubled enough.
Maybe not. Who knows? A little spicy.
I think it is weird because, I know we were looking up, and I had heard of it, and I don't know if it was just because I feel like a lot of the artists and the people in the club, there were a lot of drug overdoses and a lot of troubles, really. But you know what upsets me the most about the whole thing is, I just turned 28, and I look back at what I have accomplished, and it's in comparison to, I'm like, how do these people do so much by 27?
It's freaking. It really is amazing. I guess, though, also for people who don't know what we're talking about, the 27 Club is quite a big list of these famous artists, different kind of people. So I know the major four or big people were Kurt Cobain, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, and the list kind of goes on there. And these people all that died at 27, and I know, like Ryan was just saying, a big majority was from generally addiction or overdoses or along those lines. But it's just crazy that how it kind of ended up at 27, and like you were saying, they did so much, really, in comparison to what I've accomplished. I'm not belittling my success either, because we all have our own things, I guess, but I'm like, damn.
That's why I'm 100% belittling my own success when in comparison to these people. I mean, because and it's funny, like even Janis Joplin, who I've heard of her music, I had no idea that she was in the 27 Club. Like when I think of like all these people, like these big artists and like all they've accomplished, Amy Winehouse, people like that. I just assume that these people are like in their 40s.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you even do so? I just quit wetting the bed last year. I
Exactly,
swear.
right? Small steps, baby steps for others, while other people might be making way larger steps. But I feel like also the big thing here too is also to like artists and some of these. I feel like you get a lot. People who are so creative sometimes, like that. I give mad props to any artists out there. I wish I could have the natural talents that some of these
True.
people have. Like, those singers, like you said, that like that the voice comes like that. She was aged beautifully. Like her vocal cords were in one way. Like that style. It's just crazy. Artists are absolutely amazing and fantastic. But I don't know if that's necessarily is related with the age 27, or if this is such like a big queedinkadink or whatever
Right.
that it's associated. But I don't know. I feel like birthdays as a whole have a lot of they're mixed emotions. I feel like we get a lot of people out there get depressed around birthdays as well, and I'm gonna be honest. Like this birthday, it's not when you think of when you're a kid, when you're little and you're getting your birthday party and all your friends are coming over and this like even your parents are super into it and it's like another year's success, and then now we're getting older, that's just like the realization of it's just another year of age.
It's so funny. I swear, when you're like a little kid, your birthday is like the biggest day of the entire year. It's like the only.
Yeah, you get so hyped up for it, like, oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Oh, but it was cool though, because when I was in elementary school and just starting school, because my birthday is August 7th, a lot of times my birthday would be the very first day of school, so I'd be up in first grade with some damn brownies,
Got them
Big Al hooking it up. All the kids love me.
You already got the in immediately.
Exactly.
See, that's also, I guess, even another kind of point to that little different. Even the big thing with your birthdays and like what age group you're also going to be in. That's such a big thing now. Like my age cutoff, since I'm in October, I'm like the oldest of my class, sort of.
That's funny.
So it's definitely that also has such a big effect. Like I feel like in school and where your birthday's at, and living in Florida, I never could have a pool party. I'm very upset about that, to be honest, as a kid. Yeah, it was cold. It was cold in Florida by the time it was for a pool party.
I didn't know why. I was like, why couldn't? I thought it was like a risk of kids drowning or something.
No, Mom would have let me, but it was cold back then. But but those were the good times. Those birthday parties. I had a lot of bowling alley birthday parties.
We used to go to McDonald's. There was this big McDonald's that had a big playground, and we would go to. But it's funny, because we just were back in North Carolina, and the one place we went to, I don't remember, but I've seen the pictures of like my third birthday party. It was like Hercules. You got the piñata.
The good old days.
I used to love that.
Alora had her birthday. We have pictures of Alora had her birthday at McDonald's. They don't do that anymore. They used to have kid birthday parties all the time at McDonald's.
We used to go there. They had a huge playground. I mean, it was like Six Flags. It was the Six Flags of the fast food game.
No, we actually drove by, and they don't really. I feel like they've stopped making playgrounds in a lot of the fast food restaurants. We passed by one the other day. It was like when we were driving back. The thing was so steep. I'm like, kids can go down that thing. But I guess maybe now, a safety. I don't know.
Oh my God! Let the kids play.
Just wait. When I have a baby one day, way far in the future, maybe I'll throw his birthday party at McDonald's for a good old throwback.
It's like, and even when I started getting a little older, my birthday was always. We would throw the biggest fucking parties for my birthday. I swear. Ragers. We would just absolutely rage. Like for me, my birthday was like the one day of the year where you are supposed to just get absolutely beyond inebriated.
Yeah, see, I know a lot of people, don't get me wrong, I've had spent a lot of birthdays as well, like partying, I guess, but not even too close. I feel like probably the level that you had ever reached. I would always say I was more of a less partier. I've always been a small group kind of person, always like 10 people. It's like that's a happy amount of people for me, maybe 15. And when we'd party, I mean, it was just everyone just coming over. We'd have drinks, literally like play board games. Like I went like in college, even when as I was getting those ages as well, like I didn't party hard, but there's so many like don't get, once again, I'm not saying I'm not, definitely not a saint, and I definitely had drinks, especially when I turned 21 and a little before that. But I definitely did not party as hard, and sometimes I regret that. I think sometimes on just like looking back on it, maybe trying to be more in the moment or being more spontaneous. I don't know. There's that. I know there's a push and pull between the two because I know you went through a lot. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's weird in between ground.
I swear there was a couple years where like I mean even when my dad had his heart attack while we were down here, for everyone who doesn't know, so my dad, we were actually visiting Florida one time. My dad had a heart attack. He had to have triple bypass surgery.
Yeah, and he's only like, what, he's like 45, right?
47, I believe. Okay. But so I ended up, my brothers went back and I ended up staying down here for a little bit. But then when we got back, it was time for my birthday. And I think my dad was like still here recovering, and we threw like this huge lake party and just absolutely like trashed this house. This is when I was like, I think I was 17.
That's wild.
We took all the trash and like threw it in the backyard because we tried to put it in the car. There was so much trash we couldn't take it. They found pills everywhere. There was beer on the damn ceiling.
Oh gosh.
So I swear every year the parties would just, and it's like the most egotistical thing. Like when you really look at it.
To throw a rager. I was like glimpsing over some stuff, and there was a remark like, we have a lot of like birthdays are associated like with, can be attached to like trauma and like things that have happened that have like these significant events. So like when every year when your birthday comes around, like something triggers it, and I hadn't put the two and the two together, but I know that was like one of your like top. I know you mentioned your birthday story a couple of times because obviously that's like a big thing. But also, like looking at it now, also your dad was also having a triple bypass surgery at 40 freaking 7, and you're only 17, right? So like that is a pretty big like you're talking about possibly losing a parent and going through this like freaking wild ass thing, and your response is to throw a rager. And I don't know. It's definitely.
In my defense, I did not organize or plan it really. Although it was for my birthday, I wasn't 100% involved in the planning. But yeah, I mean, it was. I don't know if it ever really set in. Just like the. But now that I'm getting older, I think it has. But even back then, like I've talked before, I never lost anybody close to me. So I don't. To me, all right, you had a heart attack. I mean, he's at the hospital. He's clearly all right. Because at first they didn't know how serious it was. His heart had been bothering him, and then they like took out his gallbladder. They told him it wasn't his heart, and then next thing you know, he was like, dropped me off at the hospital for tests, and they were like, yo, you had a major heart attack.
That's wild literally in itself. And I think that's the other part with birthdays. Like, we're not just aging, like our parents are aging.
That's sad.
Like, and such that's so 47 to me is young. Like,
I know.
It's not that old. And now as we're like growing, it's like you're watching your parents grow and like the risk of like, anything can happen, obviously. But
I kind of was hoping I would die before my parents died. I know that's selfish, but it's like I can't imagine. I can't imagine not having them.
Having them here. No, I feel like you hear a lot of married couples talk about that. Like I know our grandfather, he mentioned Stella, our grandma. She always said that she wanted to die before him because she just wouldn't be able to like make it. And like so it's just weird hearing those words and those like you just imagine everyone's going to be here. And even on your birthdays, you hold so much, like you have these parties, and sometimes they're not rager parties when you're having like your whole family, even when it's the young, like when we go to our like very first couple of birthdays and we're growing, and it's excitement that we're growing. It's excited we're getting older. Everyone's so happy we're getting older. And then you like hit this age and it's like, you're getting older.
Right.
What are you doing with your life? What are you going? All these questions, like, are you going to make anything of yourself? Can you make anything of yourself? Will you be anything? And it's like, and I feel like definitely the last couple of years, that's what I've 100% felt. Like, I definitely don't, it's just a weird journey. I know, I heard this thing a while ago and it stuck with me forever. Someone said, your brain's not fully developed till you're 25. And I could not agree more. Like, and they say your brain fully develops, and then you spend the next like 2 years, 26 and 27, in this like, awakening kind of like, oh wow, like rational thinking. And I definitely felt like that. Like the year before this, like I definitely was in a dark place. I think a lot of people, because of COVID, also on their birthday last year was not a great birthday. But as we're getting older, it's like those societal pressures to do more, be more, or what the expectation is, or what I'm supposed to do, and like it's just weird.
I know. I think it's funny too, but even you mentioned like the brain's not fully developed until your 25th birthday. Because on my 25th birthday, I showed up at rehab. I mean, I think that I don't remember exactly what the timeline of events was, but it was pretty much like, all right, this needs to happen like right now.
Yeah.
And then the worst part too is I was there for my 26th birthday too, so I don't know what kind of well, I do have brain damage. That is.
But realizing you needed to get the help though, like you said, like it's like I think like your brain's just fine. And at that age, I feel like 25, it's like you can't. It really hits the like, okay, before you're getting away, like I'm still a kid. Like not saying, you know what I mean? Like you're a kid, but you're not. Like you're that. Life's not so serious still. Like I don't have to be making all these like real big decisions yet. And then like after 25, with all those pressure norms and everything, it's like, okay. Like am I supposed, like what,
right?
You know what I mean? I can't get away with being my younger.
I don't care personally. I will try my best to do the absolute least to let's see, what's the word? To join society, the rat race. I won't have it.
No, I'm with you too, because it is like people's judgment on like what is like we just so reason we were out last week in so sorry in Ryan's,
North Carolina.
Thank you. And it was Ryan's home, North Carolina, and his brother got married. Our littlest cousin, or in the group of the 5 cousins, he got married. So bizarre.
I think it was weird. Okay, because he's been dating his girlfriend for a very long time. I have nothing but good things to say about his girlfriend. Probably, or wife now actually.
Yeah, wife.
She's probably helped him in many ways. But yeah, I don't think it like when I got there. I don't know. I felt weird. I feel like ever since he's got married, I've been more like on the lookout of like, okay, all right. I'm like, it hasn't occurred to me that I'm like kind of old and like.
Yeah, look at those social pressures on you now being put down on you.
Yeah, because like even I think our parent or like your parents and my parents both were married by the age of 27.
Yeah, 27.
So I'm 28, and I'm like, I've never been in a very committed relationship even.
Well, even on the other hand, like, and I'm take your time. Like, I feel my view on marriage is a bit rough. Like, okay, as people may know if you've been listening, I've been in a committed relationship almost now 10 years, on and off there a bit, but I'm not ready yet. I'm not close to being ready yet. I just, when the time's right, I don't think a marriage is have all be all. And I know a lot, every time I'm getting on like any of my social media platforms at this age, it's like this person's engaged, that person's engaged, this person's getting married, that person's having a baby, and it's like boom, 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 and I'm like like holy crap. And I still feel so like I'm 27, I got time, like no, which right. Once again, not trying to, if you're out there doing all those things, kudos to you, but I still like to sleep. I still like margaritas. I still like a lot of things where there's, I know that's more on the baby spectrum, not necessarily marriage, but I'm not ready for that like plunge. I feel right. Like society,
to me, it just seems like, I mean, well, obviously it's just such a big commitment. I can't commit. I mean, I think maybe obviously what I'm saying would not surprise anybody, because if anyone knows me from TikTok or whatever, they know that I'm a late bloomer, we'll say. Hopefully that I even bloom at all. But, I'm like 28, live on the couch, broke 100% of the time. And then, yeah, it's weird. But I definitely have, like, even when I was, like, in the airport, I was flying back whenever that was. Wink, wink. Definitely not yesterday. But I was, like, I was, like, looking. And I was, like, because it was me. And then I was, like, just look. I was like looking for people who are like married, and I feel like I'm
Coupled
just
up,
like I've been on the look now,
like posted up.
which is weird because I've never considered even. It's never even once in my mind. I've considered like having kids or like getting married.
Yeah, no,
Never once.
see, that's I don't know. Maybe that's more of a guy thing. I don't know. Yeah, and maybe our listeners can tell us. I don't know if that's more like. I feel like though the women like we've always like had this. There is at times we always with my when you're young like, oh, when I'm 24 I'm gonna have this and I'm gonna have all these babies. I'm not gonna lie. So I used to say I wanted a minimum of like 6 kids when I was younger.
Jesus, wait, you wanted 6 kids when you were younger?
Well, I used to say when I was younger.
My bad.
And I know I probably would have had to get on it by now, but now I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe not so much. Like it just I feel like females we just also like make that like internal maternal thing and all that, and so you just like, oh, what my Prince Charming or what my partner is gonna be in life, like you just idolize these things. So I think it's just we're at that age where it feels the pressure, and I've had 2 closer friends get engaged, and I'm happy for them. I really am. I'm truly and honestly happy. It's like this once again this weird where we're at in life and like the age that we're specifically at. I know that.
I can't even believe that. I did like I don't even know what it is. I swear every day I wake up and I'm like, well, not every day, but sometimes I'm like, I still feel so young. I don't know if I got like, if my brain damage has messed up my memory, but I'm like, these last 10 years didn't even happen. In my mind, I'm like 21 tops. And I think if you look at my behavior, it's like,
True.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I've
done more aging. I know, and I didn't. Well, I remember like when I was younger, my parents would always be like, I would say the same thing. I'm mentally, 16. My dad literally still probably mentally 16.
True.
But I'm mentally 16 in a, in a 60-year-old's body now, and it's just so. But when we were younger, I didn't get it. And now I'm getting older. I'm like, oh my god, yeah. Sometimes I really do feel like I'm still 16. Then I'm like I'm not that old. I'm like 27's not that old, but
right.
I'm getting close to 30 now. Like I'm no longer in the ends of the early 20s. I'm now like good in the late 20s.
I think it's funny, but like, so as I've been growing older, I feel like, when you're young, obviously you put adults on like such a pedestal. Mm-hmm. And then like now I'm getting older and I still like it's like a respect. I like try to respect my elders. And then I'm like, wait, half of these people are pieces of shit, Like I'm not going to respect you just because you're older than me but you're still a dumbass, Mm-hmm. If anything, that's worse. It's like you're old and dumb. Like
you haven't learned.
Yeah.
No, I could see that. There's a lot of, I think you definitely, I feel like you can see the wisdom that grows. Like I obviously, when I'm looking back at like even myself, like 3-4 years ago, like I'm obviously not the same person I am now, but you also learn what respect is and how you need to be respected and your boundaries and how you need, it's about how you get treated is how I'm going to treat you at the end of the day. And we do glorify when you're younger, like, respect your elders. But if you're being disrespected, no, we need to learn to speak up and say that's not right. You're not being a great person or whatever it may be. But it's true. It's difficult. And even on the backside of that, I've been taking care of our grandfather on and off for the last like 5 years. I gone up there, used to go up there way more. Now he's in assisted living, so he has a lot more help at home. But he would always like to get mad at him, and like even he's not disrespecting me in the sense, he's just getting older and now he needs a little more help and I have to put him in his place. But it's so hard to talk back to even him.
Right.
And I know that's a little different. He's sometimes, the things he's doing in that moment, it's like, no, Papa.
He's 100.
Yeah, once again, he is 100. But, it's been so hard to, like, get a voice because I've always, when I was younger, obviously, he's my grandfather. Like, I respected him.
Goes,
I can't say no. I can't argue that. And now we're getting to this role reversal. Right. And this is also super strange. And, like, the aging process and like birthdays and how it's associated with it. Now, it's turning into where, our parents were taking care of us. Now we're taking care of our parents and,
my parents are still taking care of me, but
we're getting to that point,
right.
And it's just bizarre. It's really weird to now seeing, I care. I'm worrying about them so much more, like how they used to care about me when I was younger. And like, that's just completely like, changed for me, and it's like a different stress. And I think that's what is intimidating about birthdays. It's like, because it is that like attention to, it's another year older, it's another year of like, you know. And I know we only have a standpoint from, you know, 20 nothings, but even, you know, as getting older, it gets a little, I think it gets a little scarier sometimes every year as it goes by. I don't want to say I'm like, I don't want to say I'm like scared of the end or anything like that, but like just that, scared of the future and what it will hold. And it's like that new chapter. I think it's like that big thing that like just, it's like, okay, it's time to turn the page. It's the next year and this new start to whatever it may be. So it's intimidating. Birthdays are intimidating.
I'm bad too, for sure. Like we mentioned, like the 27 Club earlier, and like I have to make sure that I don't compare myself to, especially people like that. It's like, oh my God, look at what these people accomplished by 27. But then like you even look at like acquaintances you have, and you're like, oh my God, this dude's doing this. He's got this job. He has a credit card. He has a vehicle. You know, look how good this person is doing. And I think that, I don't know why, I think that I've kind of gotten over like the societal pressure so much, but I think that was because I've continuously lowered the bar until nobody expects anything from me at this point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that. Like it, I think, yeah, it's the push and pull. Getting out of, I think more of also maybe what you're also trying to say, or at least how I view it, and also my like way, is like caring less of what people also though think, you know what I mean? Like the expectation, like you're doing it for your own, so get off my back. Like I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm just gonna, you know, like if don't expect, I'm taking care of myself now at this point, and this is the, even if it's maybe not the best way to, you know, quote unquote take care of yourself by some of these actions, but it's still like, this is my life, my choice, my, like, I'm not going to compare anymore, because I also have been caught up so much in that, especially on like society pressures. And I know you kind of deleted your Facebook for a long time, and but Facebook is so bittersweet with that, because you see all your friends having all these milestones. Yeah, and it's super very annoying, and you're like, I'm over here just living. I'm trying to live. I'm just trying to freaking live.
To me too, like I feel like even back when I was on Facebook, like none of, it's just all, they're people that I, you know, it's like people you know from school, and then you're getting just such a small glimpse into these people's lives. Reel. And honestly, people are so extra on yeah, we're so in love on our yeah, right. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you just don't know what's going on behind closed doors whatsoever. And even when we can paint such a beautiful picture on social media, and that's what's such a big demise, I think, sometimes with social media. But even when I think about our grandfather and that era, when they wrote more letters, I found a couple letters from our parents to, you know, our grandfather lived overseas, so they would write letters all the time, and I've read a couple of them. It's so yeah, we should bring them out.
That sounds awesome.
But very surface level talk though, and like it's so interesting. It's like weird. I don't know if having the Facebook is better, or has it just exactly almost stayed the same in a way, because so you would have posted on Facebook the same thing you would have written in a letter.
Everything's good.
Yeah, everything's good, you know, like very surface. We're taking out the do, we're doing the norm. No, you know, so I don't know. Social pressures, I don't think that's changed over the years, and birthdays are intimidating, and they're bizarre and strange, and I definitely wanted to like bring up, like I saw this thing several years ago, and I know obviously I feel like as soon as I entered my 20s was my most like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? The comparison really freaking set in, I feel like, in my 20s, because I think I was like finishing college, and it was like, what are you gonna do next? Who are you gonna be? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna be something great? Are you not gonna be something great? Like, what are you gonna do with your life? And it just felt like immense pressure. And I remember just reading a couple of these, and it like, I feel like put me in place of, you know, where I was at. And there's just like a bunch of lists of different things, like, okay, say like at age 23 Tina Fey was working at YMCA. At age 23 Oprah was fired from her first reporting job. At age 27 Vincent van Gogh failed as a missionary and decided to go to art school. 27, like literally middle of it, and career change. What another one? Age 30 Martha Stewart was a stockbroker. Julia Child released her first cookbook at age 49. At age 49, you know what I mean? So this goes on, like on and on. There's Morgan Freeman landed his first major movie role not until he was 52. So it goes on. In the end, it was like, whatever your dream is, it's not too late to achieve it. You aren't a failure because you haven't found fame and fortune by the age of 21. Hell, it's okay if you don't even know what your dream is yet. Even if you're flipping burgers, waiting tables, or answering phones today, you never know where you're going to end up tomorrow. And that's such a big, I feel like it has such a big impact.
100. Yeah, I definitely, because I think, I don't know why, but like sometimes I feel like, I'm so old, my life is over. Like, it's like, what am I supposed, and I'm like, well, that's not, and when I was, like you were talking about when you finished college or whatever, I felt that same way, but when I dropped out of college, I was like, now what am I gonna do, you know? And times got so dark. And then I'm like, okay, it's important to remember that, if you compare yourself, what I found that helps me is instead of comparing myself to people doing better than me, I compare myself to people doing worse than me. So I look a little better.
I guess you got to do what helps you cope, right?
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I really do like that though, because to me, okay, I'm 28. I haven't done anything, but guess what? It's a marathon, people. It's not a sprint.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, though. We're just starting, and that's what I felt. I kind of felt, even though I know me and Ryan come from a little bit different paths, like we've said in a couple episodes. I finished college. I was doing what society told me. I was literally doing everything I was supposed to do. Literally a year ago, I was thinking about applying to law school. I literally was doing applications to go to law school to appease my father. And now I'm here making this podcast, and I'm happier than I have ever been in this last month, in the last couple of years, because I've just now finally found something that I feel passionate about. I find something that I'm not working. I'm enjoying every minute that we're working on this project, even in the tough times when it gets a little stressful and we don't know exactly what we're doing. Like, I've truly felt so happy that I found my niche. I grew up birthday after birthday and figuring out what was I going to do? I was always so envious of my friends who I'm going to be a doctor one day. Or I knew exactly what, the industry, not necessarily doctors even, but they just kind of always had a preference or a knowledge of what they wanted to do or achieve or have. And I just never had that sense of direction. And so it's totally different now.
100%.
Having something, I'm like, hell yeah, this is a good direction. I'm liking the direction,
I am also, yeah, it's so nice been able to we're giving $1 from every shirt to charity, and it just feels so nice that we're able to kind of give back. I feel like a lot of people can hopefully relate to what we have going on. I know a lot of people probably don't know what they want to do in life, and you know what? That's A-okay. We're going to figure it out.
Exactly. And that's why, every birthday as the new year comes along, as scary and intimidating as it can be, I think, we just have to be, buckled up and kind of just anticipate what's yet to come. I think once again, the biggest thing is being surrounded in being in your safe place, being with the people that you love. And as I've gotten older, that's what I appreciate the most on my birthdays. It's no longer the big party or the presents you get. It's really about who I'm with at the end of the day and where I'm at in that moment in life, and I'm excited for this next chapter of 27. I'm really excited. It's been already this last month, like I said, started off really good, and I can't wait to see where this goes and where we go with you listeners out there. We're very fortunate for you guys being here and, supporting us and supporting our t-shirts. And I think we're going to have a lot of great things. But I can't wait to give back more to the community, like we said, and really start ending the stigma on mental health.
That's right. I just would like to say again, happy birthday. And thank you to everybody who is listening. If you have made it this far, please reach out to us. Send us an email, something. Let us know. Comment on our TikTok. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you want to hear, guys. We're going to try to start implementing new segments into the podcast, this and that. But we have been just absolutely going hammer time trying to get this content, get the merch out to you guys. But again, thank you guys. Ariana, happy birthday. And this was another episode of I
I
wear
wear
grippy
grippy
socks.
socks.